everyone, it's the English Simmer here, and Christmas has come early for me. No, hold up, I know that there are a ton of you who have clicked this video and been like, Christmas? Okay, I'm gonna head out. This isn't a Christmas themed video, I can assure you. I'm gonna hold off until at least the end of November, no matter how tempting it is. I mean, I have fairy lights up all year round to brighten up my house right now because I hate the fact that it has been so dark and murky, but it's like Christmas because I, of course, get to talk about my favorite topic. I get to enter my happy place, my comfort zone in The Sims 4, and this is actually a video where I'm going to be going over all of the updates that I've personally done on my own little save file. If you follow me over on Twitch, you've probably seen me make over a fair few of these Sims, although I will say I haven't done a townie makeover in a while. If you're watching this video literally as it goes live, I'm probably over on Twitch right now making over Kato Akiyama from Snowy Escape. I'm basically using custom content and I'm redesigning the Sims 4 townies to look more like my style of Sims, and also just so I interact with them a little bit more. The game is 9 years old now, especially like base game Sims have existed for 9 years, and sometimes you just get sick of seeing the same old, same old. So not only do I change their appearance and obviously the clothes that they wear, sometimes I will change up their traits if I feel as if their headcanon in my brain is something different to like actually what the Sims team have given them. Which, kicking off, I want to start off with the Michaelsons. I will say I very much feel like ever since Snowy Escape, really, when we started getting like sentiments and storytelling in that manner when it came to townies, they've definitely had more personality. So I haven't really shifted the personality of a lot of the newer Sims, and I've also kind of used their style as like a basis and also inspiration for how I wanted to make them over. So this is, of course, Celeste. Her and Christopher, I'm fairly sure, are both in the tech career. They actually have their own couple gaming room, which I think is so cute. I actually made over the gaming room in their house for this save file because I didn't really like the way that the original one looked. I imagine they're both like quite young parents, and I kind of wanted to keep that both for them. They're definitely like on the PTA. We don't have PTA in the UK, but isn't it like Parents Teacher Association or something like that? That might not be what it stands for. We definitely in our primary schools specifically had parents who like always helped out at like summer and Christmas fairs. A lot of the mums were either the dinner ladies or the lollipop ladies, and they always kind of contributed to the school a lot, which is kind of what I imagine PTA to be. I kind of wanted to give these two a little bit more personality, show off like their geeky sides a little bit more, and I definitely feel as if their makeovers do that. I definitely took some like inspiration from Bob Pancakes because I also feel like he kind of has that like nerdiness to him in a way, but like really big like graphic tees, colors thrown in, because I felt like these two weren't like colorful enough. Why do I sound like I have a frog in my throat? It's because I went to an event last night and I actually had to talk to people, so now my throat sounds like this. It was an event at Anfield, which is Liverpool's football stadium. People were like, oh, are you a Liverpool fan? It's like, no, I'm really just here to scout out my seats for Eras Tour next year. A family who I feel as if most people, one, either forget about or have never ever been able to forget about them because of their god-awful base game home, is the Spencer Kim Lewis household. Now, I've definitely used these in a video. I did a like how to dress masculine Sims video a few weeks back, and I reckon you lot were just asking for an updated create a Sims save file video so that you could thirst over who I categorized as daddies, and Eric Lewis was one of those Sims. Now, Eric Lewis, I don't know what he was before I made him over, honestly. I don't really remember his Sims wiki, which I usually do read before I start doing these townie makeovers to get like a sense of who these Sims are. But I saw him and I was like, sir, you need some personality thrown on you, okay? Like, you look like a base game default Sim. In my brain, he's a doctor. He just screams like surgeon to me. So I went for like a McDreamy, I've never watched an episode episode of, what even is the show called? Meredith Grey? Taylor Swift. I should know this. Grey's Anatomy. Never watched an episode in my life, but I have seen McDreamy, and I wanted Eric Lewis to kind of have that air about him. So he lives a very luxurious lifestyle. I will say, in this townie save file, I didn't really want to like make over homes. As you all know, I'm not a builder. I don't mind interior. However, I think I'm gonna have to probably download Lost in Sophs. If she's done a build of this, I absolutely love Sophie's like builds. I think they're incredible. And I really want to like deck it out with Zarela's looks kit, because I feel like especially like his office is kind of the style that I imagine that he would roll with. So he wants to be a mansion baron. He's materialistic, he is glutton, and also self-assured. I like to think that he is gluttonous because of his mother, Vivian. Now, if your Vivian in your game is anything like mine, she is a feeder. She loves the whole community. She is grandma of the community. She's always bringing over food. She's always catering for all of your parties. She just wants people to eat good food. She is a business lady. She is a CEO. In my game, I like to think that she has a full catering company. It just started out as like baked goods and like homemade sandwiches in her kitchen. Basically, she got a Keith Lee review and blew up. And that's what I like to think of her as. She still works now, even though she is an elder. She obviously still wants to have a big happy family, but she's a foodie, family oriented, and cheerful, which just makes me think that she is like pinnacle of the community. I'm not going to talk about Alice Spencer Kim too much. I mean, she's pretty much like still the default of what she is. She was very creative. Honestly, I don't know how Eric pulled a woman so cool. I like to think that she wears these like little gaming necklaces because Olivia's made them for her. And then we have her father, Dennis Kim, who I love. I would take a bullet for this man. I love him so much. I want to protect him with my whole heart. I still don't know how I feel about his hair, because he's actually one of like the only bald townies that we have. So I think eventually I probably will make him bald, but I just love like this hair with like the fits that he wears. I don't even know how to explain him. He's like grandpa to the max. Moody and McMillan, again, some oldies who own my entire heart. These two I proper gave some personality to. They are part of cottage living, really like opposites attract couple. Like they have been together from when they were very young, when people didn't approve of them. They are kind of, you know, your uncles who you see as friends, but you still call them your uncles. That's what I had with like some of my aunties. So I kind of wanted that like relationship dynamic, but now they are very much like in love. They aren't afraid to show the world, and they just like reside in Henford on Bagley, live their little farm lifestyle. Ian is actually very much giving Sir Ian McKellen. I have to say Sir Ian to then like remember his surname, but yeah, he is like a retired actor. I still like to think that he goes to like community acting schools and like helps out. He is very much like extroverted to the max, very lovable, very jovial, like very loud. And then we have his sweet little husband, who is absolutely the introvert of the couple. We have Derek, who is still actually writing. I like to think that he's a script writer, because, you know, like the acting and then script writing. He also does write novels as well, but yeah, he is kind of, you know, the more like low-key one. He just wanted to not even retire, but like move away to a cottage in Henford and just like write his books. But he absolutely like adores Ian, and like he goes to all of his shows and like supports him. There are definitely some sims that I have struggled with throughout this save file. Gunther Munch is absolutely one of those sims, but I finally pinned him down. I actually made him over whilst I had COVID and was actually watching an awful lot of Critical Role, and I was just looking at Matthew Mercer like, why do I feel like basing Gunther off Matthew Mercer would be like such a vibe, which is hilarious because I don't particularly like Gunther like as his base like default. He always seems to have like an air of arrogance, but then he's like clumsy, which I think I actually want to change that trait. I do still think he would like judge people for not liking what he likes, but I do imagine him playing like D&D, and then if anyone like calls him out for it, he will like go onto like mansplaining like D&D to you. Like he definitely still has that air of arrogance to me, which I'm not saying Matthew Mercer does. I do not think that, but just like style wise and things like that, that's kind of what I was channeling. And I'm so happy that I downloaded this modern mullet from Johnny Sims, because I feel like that truly brought my Gunther together for me. He definitely loves like vintage shopping and like renewal of fashion, which I never thought that I would have Gunther Munch be into fashion. Yet here he is. He is a sad boy poet, and I stand by that. Noah, I struggled so much with. Like, I had no idea what I wanted to do for Noah whatsoever. Like, I wanted him to be kind of the jock, but also the class clown. He's not like a jock that is still like super popular. He's more the type that will like talk to everyone, and he kind of has like his own insecurities like wrapped up in that. He is chief of mischief. I'm fairly sure he's also gay. I think he fancies Sydney in the trailer, or he fancies someone else. So I kind of just gave him this like very like laid back streak style, and I again now absolutely love him. I want to adopt Noah Kane. I will hold my hands up and say I have been very behind on actually making over my horse ranch sims. Sometimes it's like when I play the pack more, I'll like get to know people. Umber is someone I feel like I got to know. I feel like honestly, everyone got to know Uncle Umber. He is a flirtatious lil sim. Honestly, the drama that I have heard from you lot about this man, Juniper, you absolutely need to come pick up your mum, because he is in everybody's DMs. I can assure you, he tries to like romance everyone, which I get. He's very enchanting. He's romantic, although I do imagine he absolutely adores his family and would do like anything for them, which I think you can kind of tell from his backstory with like taking over his parents' farm because he felt like that was his responsibility, and like protecting his sister. So I really see him as like this really big like protective authoritative figure, and I feel like my makeover just kind of gives those vibes. I feel like he could have a couple of drinks with you, like a couple of whiskeys, and you would be telling your whole life story to this man, because he just has like the kindest face. Now there are some sims that I struggle with, and then there are some sims that I just really dislike in the game. I'm sorry to say it, but Supriya was absolutely one of those sims, and that is because Supriya was like the Eliza Pancakes of my game. You know that one sim who like comes over in the welcome wagon and then never ever leaves you alone? I feel like Eliza Pancakes gets her bad rep because of that. Like, she fully obsesses over your sim and like legit never stops calling. Supriya was also that for me. However, since my townie makeover, I can say I feel like I've given her a bit more personality, and I do quite like her, which is also why I wanted to do these townie makeovers. I was like, I need to feel some like sympathy for you, or like some character development. Brittany Cho was exactly the same, Judith Ward, because they're celebrities and they always take away from my sims. But after my townie makeovers, I'm like, yeah, now you deserve to take away from my sims. Like, you're an icon. I absolutely love you now that I've given you more personality. Her makeover was actually inspired by Evie. I actually aged Evie up into a teenager, and she had these like gorgeous, like huge, like Disney eyes, and I was like, oh my god, she is so cute. And I don't really know where she got it from, like within the family genes, but then I used her as inspiration for her mum, which I'm really glad that I did. I feel like these lot just like look more like a family now. Like, I felt like they all felt very disconnected from each other initially. I kind of get mixed up between Justin Delgato, which the amount of times that I've almost called this this man Dustin. I might genuinely change his name. And also the Sigworth husband, whose name I currently cannot remember. Jess's husband is how I usually refer to him. Just like from his traits, I feel like whenever there's like a stay-at-home dad, the Sims team are like, give him family oriented and make him neat. I think I actually said that I wanted him to like do research, so I'm fairly sure he's like a researcher. I have barely done any of his other outfits, as you can tell, but I'm actually excited to carry on with his outfits. Although I do feel like I'm slipping into a comfort zone with my dad's. Like, I feel like they all have these trousers on, and I've also given this top to a lot of Sims, so I feel like that's why I stopped making him over. Not gonna apologize for being in my daddy era. Speaking of, let me talk about one of my favorite daddies. Honestly, I feel like I did Anaya dirty. I absolutely adore her, but I realized that I really like washed out her style. So I think I'm actually gonna go back through like her outfits and like inject more color into them. And I think that was influenced by, is it Barco or Bako? I feel like I always switch between those two pronunciations. He is a 70s icon. Look at him. This man knows how to blow a bubble, if you know what I mean. I freaking love him. I love his style. Honestly, this paranormal blazer, I saw this and was like, that is Barco. Like, that is Mr. Jang to a T. I like to imagine him like hanging out at the karaoke bars. He is a music lover. In my mind, I feel like he's probably a music producer. Like, he's pretty like high up in his career. He just adores music. He lives and breathes music. Like, he knows how to play like every instrument under the sun. I even gave him media production as a like. I'm glad that even like looking at these Sims, even though I've made them over like years ago, like for him, for example, I can't even remember when I made him over, but like looking at him and seeing his style, I'm like, yeah, music producer. And I'm glad that my brain is still working that way. I'm glad the puzzle pieces that I put together like 2 or 3 years ago when I made him over are all coming together, and I can see that image still very, very clearly in my brain. It makes me feel validated a little bit. Speaking of Sims that I struggled with, Katarina was definitely one of them. I mean, it hurt me personally to get rid of the cat ears. I honestly may have to go to a custom content creator who has the cat ears separately, and I still wanted to give her like this shag cut. I basically was inspired from Eloise Hiddlesticks, who obviously came with high school years and owns like the thrifty shop. I really love the style that I gave to that townie makeover, and I kind of wanted to bring that into Katarina as well. Like, I imagine her going like vintage shopping. I very much imagine her like getting more vintage pieces and like piecing them together. I feel like halfway through I got really overwhelmed by like kind of the lack of stuff, I guess you could say. I feel like I need more CC for some Sims, and she was definitely one of them. I know I talked about the Sigworths. Dylan, there we go. I remembered his name this time. He is a stay-at-home dad, and I know that for sure because that's what I wanted for him. Their daughter is just like very, very artistic. They always make like crafts together. She's super, super colorful. Like, they always like sit and like paint their nails. I imagine she is homeschooled. I know he looks like Milo from Atlantis. That's what I wanted him to look like. I was going through an Atlantis phase. I love it when he lets his hair down. I forgot that I had given him that like little bit of personality, but yeah, in his like workout gear and also like in his sleepwear, it's like not pushed back, it's like all floppy, and I feckin' love it. Look at how cute this man is. He just reminds me of a little mouse. And then I mean, Jess is just Jess. She is like the Sim that I have always fancied in The Sims 4 and will continue to fancy. Aurelio, my sweet boy. Aurelio from Growing Together. I actually want him to be like a pop star and a DJ. I actually imagine them having a really, really good relationship with Jay and Dolly. Like, I imagine that they're kind of the bridge connecting the two sets of those families together still. And finally, I want to talk about the biggest character arc. Literally, I never ever interacted with these Sims. Eclectic Arts from Strangerville. I like them, like even in their regular, just like default state, but I feel like I just never interacted with them because they never really like caught my eye as a household, which considering how cool their personalities are, they were very, very understated, which I kind of get. Like, they kind of all, I like to think, use their like college money or like money that their parents have saved them. Like, they're all in my eyes trust fund babies, but they all just use that to like buy a house together in the middle of nowhere, so they could just like throw paint at canvases and make music and just like live out their like hippier lifestyle together. So we have Mark, Mr. Egg himself, who is just, I mean, so sick. I went all accessories on Mark. I was like, no accessory is too much. Like, this man does not have a too much gene. Actually, he does have the too much gene. Like, it will kick in at all times. Like, he just lives on too much gene energy. Then we have the like full-on artist of the household. We have Alice Martin, who again, can we just appreciate their color coordination, like their freaking makeup? Oh my word, what an absolute little cutie. And then we have Leslie. I mean, Leslie is also cool. She's like the least interesting sim, in my opinion, in this household. I imagine her having like, again, kind of like a vintage fashion blog. That's kind of what I went for, like Instagram girly. But I hope those of you who are asking an update on this save file like got the info that you were hoping for out of this video. I still have a long way to go. As you can see, I'm like kind of halfway through some sims. Like, I definitely need to finish their outfits and things like that. Others I'm like not 100% happy with when it comes to the townie makeovers, so I need to like hop back in and like really zhuzh them up just a little bit more. And then there are some households that I still haven't even like attempted a makeover on them yet. But I also hope this gave you some inspiration for your sims and like future sims that you will create. That's also kind of why I love doing these videos. I think showing off sims personalities and like their fashion and how they present themselves to the world, like the careers that they do, joining all of that in like the mismatch that is Sims 4 Create a Sim is still one of my favorite things to do all these years on in this game. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Definitely let me know some of your favorites down below. If you have any other different headcanons from me, I would also love to hear them. Subscribe if you aren't already, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching the whole of this video, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.